Hi, hello, I'm Cameron. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to kind of talk a bit about my story, I guess, my timeline of coming to terms with being trans. I feel like the lighting is weird, but we're gonna deal with it. So basically, as far as my childhood goes, I have repressed a lot of it. But things I do remember from being in elementary school, that time of my life, uh, obviously gender wasn't at the forefront of my mind. Mostly just kid stuff. I know that during that period I had significantly more male friends than I had female friends, but I don't know if that's really evidence of transness as a youth, or just those were the people that had similar interests as me, because I have had periods of my life where I've had more female friends than male friends, and it kind of fluctuates, and I think I don't know. I don't know if it's really relevant. I'm just rambling. Hope that's okay. But in middle school is more when I started to kind of question things, kind of be confused a lot. Puberty hit me hard and it hit me fast. For example, I never had a training bra. We went straight to bra. I basically just woke up one day with boobs, and had to deal with that, without really comprehending what was going on there. For example, I didn't get a bra until a teacher pulled me aside in 6th grade and was like, "You need a bra." And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but I'll tell my mom, I guess." So yeah, just kind of happened to me, and I didn't like it at all. And on top of my body rapidly changing in ways that kind of horrified me, it changed the way that literally everyone around me interacted with me. For example, being in the 6th and 7th grade and having other people just call me a whore because I had boobs, straight up, just for that, which I didn't understand, didn't really know what to do with that, and I've always been very awkward and kind of introverted, so it's not like I stood up for myself or anything. I just kind of took it and cried about it later. And even teachers I had were clearly treating me differently, because of my body changing. I don't know what else the issue would be. I had a history teacher who would regularly just tell me that I needed to dress more appropriately, even though I was just wearing t-shirts, just regular clothes. It's just that my child clothing was now too tight on me, and we didn't really have the money to go buy me an entire new wardrobe because overnight my body decided to change. So that was cool. And I hated it. It was not a good time. I didn't like the way people were viewing me. I didn't like the way people were talking to me. I didn't like looking at myself. Not a good time. Don't recommend going through puberty. But yeah, I hit this point in 7th or 8th grade, in there somewhere, where I hit puberty. I had my first period and all that, and it was like, okay, well now I have to be a woman. That's how this works. That's how my minuscule understanding of human biology works is now I'm a woman, but I don't feel like a woman, so I have to make myself do that. And I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it, because I didn't really talk to anybody about how I felt about anything. So I didn't really have someone that I felt comfortable being like, hey, something's wrong here. So I decided to really lean in to how everyone else was viewing me, which was not good. Everyone was viewing me as a whore, for lack of better way to put it. That's how 7th and 8th grade people were calling me in 7th and 8th grade. So I leaned into that, and I started wearing revealing clothes on purpose. I started wearing high heels to school every day and waking up at like 4 in the morning to do a full face of makeup. And I really tried every single day to put on my woman costume so that I could go through the day and make myself be a woman because I was supposed to be one now. And it was not a good time. I felt extremely uncomfortable constantly. I hated wearing these clothes, and yet they were the only clothes that I would really let myself wear. I didn't like people perceiving me looking that way, but I felt like I had to be that way in order to trick myself into accepting being a woman now. Which didn't work, but I did try really hard to make it work for many years, like a decade, basically. So then I got into high school and I continued this road of forcing myself to be as feminine as possible all the time, over feminizing myself, over sexualizing myself, in an attempt to trick everyone around me into thinking I was, a normal, regular female, and to trick myself into thinking that this is normal and regular, and eventually it'll feel normal and regular. If I just keep doing it, keep forcing myself to be this way, then it'll work out. And it wasn't until being in high school that I even learned what transgender was. That was a word I'd never heard of until I was like 16. And at that point, I had spent so long trying to make myself feel comfortable in my body through force. And so even like learning about transgender people, it was kind of more like I told myself I was just interested in it. I had a fascination with it, but I wasn't trans. I watched lots of videos of people transitioning, like those ones where it's like pictures throughout the years of like them going from, being the gender they're assigned at birth to slowly becoming what they actually identify as. And I'd watch those videos all the time. And I'd watch like videos about like surgeries, and I'd read articles about surgeries, and I genuinely had myself convinced that I wasn't looking at these things because I was trans. I was just looking at them because it was an interesting topic. And yeah, I genuinely don't know how to put it, because I spent pretty much my entire like teenage into young adult life being like, I'm a trans ally and I support trans people, but I'm not trans. I'm a cis woman and I'm not trans. My senior year of high school, I toyed with the idea of being gender fluid, and then quickly got too scared to commit to that, and backpedaled on that one. Because that is basically the theme of me being trans, is I'm too scared to do anything about it for who even knows what reason. Just like a general fear that lives in my skin. So I went to college, had ample opportunity to be like, I'm trans. There were trans people there. There were non-binary people there. People were accepting of them. Like I've yet to find myself really in situations where there weren't trans people or non-binary people around who were being accepted, who I was accepting, who were just openly being trans. And somehow in my head, I was like, well, I can't talk about my thing, which at this point I thought was gender fluid. I was like, I can't talk about that because it's scary. Like, I don't really even know what my entire thought process was, other than I was terrified to do it, so I didn't do it. And really, the moment where it hit me that I'm definitely trans, and I need to stop forcing it down, was when my grandmother passed a little over a year ago. And it was like this moment I had at her funeral where I was like, damn, she will never know that I definitely am not a girl. And it just kind of like hit me hard, where I was like, shit, like, yeah, that's true. I'm a guy. And I know that my grandmother would have accepted me. And so it was like this really frustrating realization of like, if I had just come out, it literally would have just been fine. So why didn't I do that? And so then I was in this weird space of like, okay, I'm trans. But now I don't want to come out because it's almost embarrassing that I didn't do it earlier. Like now, like, I'm almost 30 and I'm just now discovering this. Except, no, I'm not just now discovering it. I've known it. I've just been too scared to do anything about it. And so I spent a year in therapy, really talking about it and working through it and slowly coming out to people who are close to me. And like having the conversation with my mom and being like, I'm trans, and then breaking down and her being like, yeah, that tracks, you know? So it was basically just like every turn when I finally decided I'm gonna come out was like so easy. Like, I didn't have, like, not a single person I came out to didn't accept me. Not a single person I came out to was like mean. Like, it was chill. Literally every person I talked to was like, oh, okay, yeah, that, you know, that makes sense. I was like, cool, thanks. But then I kind of hit a wall where it's like, all right, now I've told everyone that matters to me, that I want to know, and I want to transition. But now that's scary. Now we've hit a new wall of, this is frightening, I don't know what to do here. And so I tried getting on testosterone twice in the span of like maybe 6 months, where I went directly to a specialist, and I was like, hey, I would like to be on testosterone. And they were like, cool. We did blood work, they okayed it, they prescribed it, and then I went to the pharmacy to pick it up, and I was like, I'm here to pick up my prescription. And they were like, your insurance denied that. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And so then I had to call the doctor, and I was like, hey, the insurance, well, actually, I didn't even get to say that because I didn't talk to anybody. I literally got like a receptionist, and they were like, we'll have the doctor call you. And I was like, cool. And then the doctor never called me. And the pharmacy tried reaching out, and they didn't get anywhere either, and so that fell flat. And so then I went to my primary care doctor, and I was like, I want to get on testosterone. And she was like, well, I can't do that exactly because my practice doesn't do that or something. I don't know. But it was basically like someone would have to be able to walk me through doing the injections. And there wasn't anyone at that practice who could do that with me. So she tried reaching out to the specialist that I had already tried, and they ignored her calls. So didn't get any testosterone. But I'm not gonna give up. Once I get health insurance again here in my new state, I'm going to get a new primary care doctor, do my yearly checkup, and in that be like, by the way, I'm trans and I would like to be on testosterone help, and hopefully get somewhere this time. Would be nice, would be cool, would be appreciated. So who knows. I find it frustrating, because I often kind of reflect and I'm like, wow, I spent so long, like so many years of my life, desperately trying to force myself to be a woman. And there was no reason to do that. I wasn't happy about it. Literally everyone around me would have accepted me if I was just open about it. But I can't go back in time. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is like be bummed about it, and that isn't very helpful. That doesn't do anything for me. And I think like it's okay to be annoyed about it and to like be frustrated with myself for putting this off for so long, but it's not like productive to do that. So I try not to. I try to be like, oh well, whatever, I'm doing it now. And that has to be good enough because that's all I can do. So yeah, I'm hoping that from here on, in the transition process, I can really, my only goal right now is just get on testosterone. I really want top surgery, but I'm not gonna rush that because I don't know, one, when I'm realistically going to be able to afford it, or two, how my new health insurance will deal with that. And yeah, so I just want to get on testosterone for right now, and change. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I want things about me to change. Most specifically, my voice. I do not like my voice. I think that from a distance, if I'm silent, I pass as masculine, and then as soon as I get a little closer and I start talking, it's that's when people bust out the ma'am, and I hate it. So I don't know. I could also be wrong, and I don't pass as masculine at all. I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm just vibing, honestly. But yeah, so that's me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should write stuff down before I record a video so that I hit all the points I mean to hit, but whatever. I don't know. That's it, basically. I would love to interact with people in the comments if possible. A sense of community would be nice, because like I said, I have a lot of people in my life that I really care about and who really care about me, but not a lot of trans people. So I think it would be cool to have more people to talk to on these topics who are either further along in their transition or same spot as me, or not even sure yet, like it would just be nice to talk to people and to know I'm not alone, because sometimes it really feels like I am completely alone, and I know that I'm not, but, you know, the human mind is stupid and whatever.